Hello and welcome to TallTimber.com, home of TimberPad and TallTimber software. TimberPad is the data collection software that works on your iOS and Android devices, and TallTimber is the processor that takes that timber cruise data and turns it into information and knowledge. We just got through working through steps 1 through 4 to create reports, and we have an optional step, step 5, which calls the U.S. Forest Service's FVS growth model and then integrates that growth output into our inventory reporting. So we can provide a landowner with not only the inventory that he has at that time of cruise, but what the inventory is going to do in the future based on the best science that FVS has to offer. So let's hit step 5 and start with this TallTimber to FVS module where we put our input parameters. First thing we have to do is choose an FVS variant. Because FVS is a model that's set up to handle all of the continental United States and part of Canada, we have to choose 4 variants. And we basically have the variants in TallTimber that are for the eastern half of the country, you could say east of the Great Plains. This is central states, lake states, northeast, or southern. And we're going to go with northeast. And we're going to click yes on this combine points. And we go into all of these features much more heavily on our YouTube channel. Our site index for the H strata, we're going to say it's site index 65, red maple. So we'll go to the RM species code and we'll say that the hardwood softwood strata, which we're also going to grow, is a site index 60, also for red maple. We may have cored some trees, we may have taken some measurements, we may be relying on FIA data. There's plenty of ways and plenty of papers that can help you with your site index and site index species calls as well. So we're going to pick a location for our input files to reside, because that's what we're doing here, is creating them. And I navigated to the scrap folder. I'm going to do the same here again. I'm navigating in this Explorer to where I want my input files to be. You should keep them all in the same folder if you're trying to keep things simple. And we'll say that we cruised in 2018, the winter, so we want a summer's growth, a growing season, so we pick 2018. We're going to leave these 2 rows blank because we're trying to make this video a little faster. So now we can check, yes, we have the H and the HS strata. These are the right amount of plots that were in there. This is a 0 tally plot that was in the H strata, northeast variant. Yes, it all looks good. So now we're going to go through and create our input files by clicking on these buttons. And I've done this once before, so it's saying, hey, do you want to overwrite your file? And I do. So now we're going to launch FVS Suppose. This is the U.S. Forest Service's growth model. And this interface can be a little intimidating for those that haven't used it, but we're going to walk through, and keep in mind we do this with 3 separate videos on our YouTube channel. So we really break it down and go slow, and we have it in our manual. So we're going to navigate to scrap. We're going to choose the .loc file, location file, suppose.loc. That's the file we just got through creating. And it points to our different strata that we want to grow. And we're going to grow them one at a time. We're going to take the H strata first. We're going to highlight it in these panes. We're going to add it, and that adds it over here to this window. And we're going to then set the time scale. We're going to grow this strata for 30 years to 2048, and we want we could pick any number here, but let's go with 5-year growth reporting. If it was in a fast growing area, perhaps we'd go with individual years. Now we're going to add 2 keywords. And this is probably the part that's going to be the trickiest. You may have to look at this a couple times, but we're going to just add the keyword summary. We bring it over, we click OK, and now we go back and we can scroll up, and the other keyword we need to add is DSN out. So adding a keyword is selecting it from this pane and which brings it over and puts it in with our model batch file. So we're building a set of specifications here for how we want it to be grown. And so these two keywords, DSN out and summary, they're under the database extension selection here. So select database extension and then DSN out, click accept. Now we have to tell the DSN out where our database is. So we have an MDB access database called FVS out, and it is in our TallTimber folder. And so what you're seeing me do here is navigating to FVS out. So that's the output from FVS is going to this MDB file. By telling it that, TallTimber will know where to look for that information. So here we have our H strata with our two keywords, summary and DSN out. We're going to run the simulation. We're going to call it H. Yes, we'll save it and replace it. Okay, so now this is FVS running, and that information was just written to that database. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the HS strata first. So now we've added it over here. By adding it to this H and then deleting H, we retain the keywords we added. So we only had to add the keywords once. We do have to check the time scale because FVS will reset that. So there's our 30 years. Now we'll save this as HS. So you would save it for each different stand or strata, or if you just had one woodlot you were doing and all just one strata, you'd only have to do this once. So now we've grown the HS. We can just pop over to TallTimber. We can check and see, and yes, it did link to that. So this is the FVS output. It's been calibrated to our inventory. Here's H and here's HS. Okay, and this is the growth rate. The H appears to be growing around 0.6 per cord per acre per year through these 5-year periods. You can see starting in 2018, so this would be the period 2018 to 23. And this is our HS, and it's growing a little faster, and then it has something weird go on. Probably some trees died. Yeah, you get a lot of mortality it's picking up here at the end. So that's a point of interest. What's going on there? Is that real? Is there a stand of aspen that it's predicting is going to fall apart? That's the kind of thing that you can check out. Bring your expert knowledge to bear. So here we have the stratified report, so the two strata. And if we wanted a summary of those averaged, remember one was around 0.6 and one was about 0.7. So here they're averaged. And we've got our chords and what's going on. Now I talked to you about adding them to the combined report. So now we can go into step 4. We can say, yeah, let's add those in as report 9 and 10. And we'll go make print. We won't fill in these boxes this time because we don't need to. We'll save our time. And we'll just show you how we've added those two sub-reports to the end of our traditional inventory style report. And what we've got now is we've got an inventory report that also has, remember there's our yellow birch from the prior video. So we've added growth information to the back, and you could have this in the front, you could have it wherever you wanted. I like the idea of having it in the back. It's a conversation piece, thinking forward and thinking about the quality of the land, the quality of the stand. So that's what the step 5 growth process is about. We have this broken down into 3 separate videos at our TallTimber YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your inventory processing.